If we don't start setting the standard for our lives, then someone else will. And most of the time, it's usually not in our best interest. It's that feeling we get when it feels like the day is hijacked by other people's demands, expectations, or even digital distractions that grab our attention and hold us hostage. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty of some of this myself. But in this video, I want to share some of my thoughts on how setting our own personal standards can bring more peace, freedom, and direction into our lives. I found that most of the time we live our lives constantly reacting to whatever life throws our way instead of taking a pause and coming up with a clear, cohesive plan to solve the problem that needs to be addressed. So, how can we start to take control of our lives again? Well, start small. Before the day begins, it can help to ask questions like, how do I want to feel today? Or, what do I actually need to get done today? Not mindless busy work, because let's be real, the busy work will always be there. But what are some things that we can do that will push us further in the direction that calls out to the deepest parts of our souls? Write it down, say it out loud. Look, that doesn't really matter. It's more about getting it out into the physical reality that we live in today. The fact that we even take the time out to claim what we want from the day speaks volumes, in my opinion. Now, this is crucial for setting the standard for our lives, because at some point, it becomes a non-negotiable, believe it or not. This video isn't to suggest that distractions and other people's intentions will magically go away, but when we start to incorporate some of these techniques, it can make it a little easier. We need not to worry, because our part's already done. We already set the initial tone for the day, so anything else after that is just a bump in the road. We already know the destination, and we already know that we need to get there no matter what. With that being said, we're going to have to set some boundaries, even when it comes to family members and colleagues. Nowadays, it's way too easy to get pulled into a million directions. Our time is valuable, and if we don't protect that time, we won't get to the initial destination that we set earlier. Protecting our time could look like saying no to things that drain our energy, putting our phones on Do Not Disturb when we need to focus, or even giving ourselves permission to step away for a minute when we need to take a break, and doing so without feeling guilty. When we start taking back control of our lives, even in the smallest of ways, we begin to shape our days instead of being at the mercy of them. Setting the standard for our lives isn't about controlling every little thing. It's more about deciding what we will and what we won't accept. It's about showing up for ourselves before the world demands us to show up for it. When we take the time to be intentional with our day, when we set clear boundaries and stick to them, we start to live life on our terms instead of being tossed around by whatever life throws our way. This doesn't mean things won't get messy, because believe me, they will. Unexpected challenges will come up, but the difference is, instead of reacting and scrambling, we already have a foundation in place. We already decided the direction we're moving in, so a roadblock isn't going to throw us completely off. The real question is, how are we taking responsibility for our lives? What's one way you set the standard for your day? Drop it in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective.